I
sound good.
I just did it to my hotspot on my phone. So that's what we're doing right now.
I got a hotspot for you.
Yeah, you do.
Welcome to Your Mom Podcast. Your mom's podcast.
This isn't any podcast. This is your mother's podcast.
My mom's podcast.
Nah, dude, she's your mom.
With Ashley Addison and Lisa McCaffrey.
Your mom is a podcast.
Shut up, dude.
You asked, and we are answering. It's our monthly mailbag episode. Welcome to Your Mom. I'm Ashley Adamson.
I'm Lisa McCaffrey, mom of 4 boys.
I'm hoping that you are coming off like just this euphoric Mother's Day.
Just all about me when that's all I ever want. And yes, no, it was a wonderful Mother's Day. Yes. How about you? Because you have little kids, so sometimes those don't go off as well.
You know, you are spot on.
First of all, you're a mom of 2. Tell them the ages.
Yes, I have a
boy and a
6-year-old
girl,
and
like
4-year-old. I have an older boy.
Family.
Yeah. Oh, it's so perfect.
Nice.
No, I have a 6-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl, and you are right. I think, and my husband Chris, who is an absolute gem, I think it was like the harder that he tried for me to have a nice Mother's Day, the more the kids like saw that and were like, "Oh no, mm-mm." So there was a lot of emotion in the morning, but it ended up being a wonderful day, and I got to have dinner with my mom. I went to a yoga class. I like to be by myself for a little while on Mother's Day. I know that's a weird thing, but
not at all. Oh my gosh.
Just, I just need a little space. But yeah, it was great. And I hope everyone out there had a lovely Mother's Day. I got to tell you, the response that we got from the last 3 episodes that we have put out has been overwhelming, like to me, honestly. So we had the episode with my mom when we were in Paris.
Magical.
And then my dear friend and colleague, Yogi Roth, who came on to talk about his late mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then the conversation with your mom that we recorded a year ago. And I got a note from somebody today that was like, how on earth did you hold that for an entire year? Like that was the best interview you guys have done. Yeah, it was so sweet. And I just said, yeah, well, we knew we wanted to have it released at a special time, and we figured on Mother's Day, you can't ask for a special more time than that. So how did your mom feel about her episode?
So she texted me. She goes, "Oh, I just listened to it and it made me cry." And then I fired back, "What parts made you cry?" And then my mom's so damn busy that I got radio silence. So yeah. that was her. I'm like, what? That's it. She shed a tear and she moved on. Thank you. Next. She's 85, and you know what? She doesn't give any F's about me. Yep.
she's like, I got the emotion out. Now I'm on to my next thing.
I cried next. Okay. Anyway, no, my baby angel Luke, who I got the best, sweetest Mother's Day messages from all my boys, from You Made Them Do It, which was magical. And I talked to all of them after, which was so funny to hear, because Max is grinding. He's working so hard. He's out there in Miami with the Dolphins. And he's like, "Damn, Ashley, damn her. I love her, but oh my gosh, I need it." And he goes, "She gave me ample time, and I waited till the last minute. So I'm in my car, sweaty and gross, and I had to record it." And all the best.
But he nailed it.
After that went out, we have our little group chat. He's like, "Hi, Mom. This is your son, Max." That's how he started it. So he was just getting ragged left and right, up and down. Poor guy. It was so.
Hey, Mom, it's your son, Max.
Well, and I'll take blame on that, because I did request that they say, like introduce themselves. So he was the only one who probably followed that direction. So sorry, Max.
Hey, Mom, it's your son, Max.
No, he's the oldest.
Thank you.
He's the rule follower, the oldest born, the rule follower. Very typical. He's probably the only one that did it. So really.
Well, he was great, because he responded right away and was like, "Yes, awesome, great idea, happy to do it." And then didn't get one for a little while. But like I said, they all came through, and every single one was just so great. So if you haven't seen that, go check out our Instagram.
That was awesome. But
it was so good.
My mom, Luke is visiting my mom right now.
Right.
So my mom was supposed to take this amazing trip to Israel and Jordan with her friend. Yeah, she's 85, taking these like insane trips that like I'm basically too scared to go on. However, the trip got canceled because there's fighting in the Middle East. And normally she would have been distraught that her, because she had been looking forward to this for months. But Luke happened to be visiting her just by himself on a whim. He didn't come home to us this year. He has a little break from school, so he went and visited her, and she is in hog heaven. So she has no time for me.
I mean,
she shed one tear when she heard it, and then that's it. She moved on to the next thing.
But you know what? You raised a good man. How old is Luke? He's 21?
21, yes.
21. Okay.
Yep.
if you, as a 21-year-old dude who has probably
No,
a
he's
million
22.
things
Sorry,
that he
he's
wants to
22.
do, 22,
Oh, my
okay.
bad. Yeah. I'm dumb.
Who still has a million things that he could be doing on his summer break when his schedule is the way that it is, that
Yeah.
he's spending that time with his grandmother
Okay.
is like the
Actually
best. I
cute.
mean, that's awesome. That's amazing and tells you everything you need to know about him.
It
So
actually is really sweet. I know.
good.
I'm like, wait, what about your
Uh,
dad and what?
yeah,
I
no,
guess we're out. No, we're not cool enough.
you're
Oh, what do you
fine.
mean?
You're fine. Well, I'm glad it resonated. It made me cry re-listening to it. And
Yeah,
it,
thank you
again,
for
it
doing that.
spoke to a lot of people.
And you got to
But
go out with your mom one-on-one.
I
That's
did. And it was really nice. Yeah. So
sweet.
we're in a great place. And it's a reminder that, and Mom, I know you'll be listening to this and I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but it's a reminder that even, and I've said this on the podcast, my mom and I are at the best point that we've ever been in our relationship. Like I'm about to be 41 years old and I never at a time before have I felt like we both we're just good. Like
Is
she
it
and I are in
because
a
of
really good place.
this
And I think it's
podcast?
because of this podcast. I
No,
swear to
me.
God.
Me.
It's you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's obviously you. Clearly it's you.
I'm kidding. No.
No, but I
Listen,
think there's a
well, I
lot of
hope
things
people
happening.
listening feel the same way too, and like, have
Yeah,
reached out and got to know their parents and got to know their mom, and because she has a story too. She wasn't all of a sudden, she just didn't come alive when you were born.
that's right. Which is what you think
Right.
when you're younger.
Absolutely. And I thought for years. So no, there's a
Uh-huh.
whole life prior, and that life made her the mom she was, or the person she is, good, bad, or whatever, but
Yes.
it made her that way. And it's so interesting to talk about. And then you'll have more empathy for her, in any way, shape, or form if you understand
Absolutely.
her background.
1,000,000%. And that is the biggest takeaway just for anyone who's listening. I would say, and Yogi, when we did the interview, he said that they've got a great new tradition that they started after actually his mom, I think, passed away. They started doing this. And I did it with my family on Mother's Day. Sit around the table and go around and everybody has to ask a question that they don't know the answer to. And you're kind of like, well, I feel like I know. But Chris and I all
Like,
of a sudden we're going back and forth. And it can be anything. Like if you
like
could move
ours
to
would
any
be easy. We
country.
just like throw out a long division problem
Right, exactly. That was the thing. Collins was trying to get me to do math. I'm like, that's
with
not
the
the point of
remainder.
this.
Yeah.
Something
That would
about
dump 'em all.
us that you don't know.
I'm kidding.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to. I definitely don't know the answer to that. But it's about getting to know people who you think you know really well. There is so much about every single person in your life, especially those in your immediate family that you don't know. So just spend some time asking those questions.
Yeah.
And speaking of questions, this is our mailbag episode and we got some good ones. So I'm going to dive in, but I just want to say thank you to everyone who has engaged and listened to the content over this month. Like it's been really cool to see it all come together and come alive. And it's clear that it's really resonating with some people. So that is good. We're not just talking to ourselves over here. I mean, we are talking to ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So I think it's helping a couple people here.
I feel like we do. That's why I'm not.
Yeah.
Wait, can I use the airwaves for my own selfish reasons?
Please. Yeah, the platform this is your platform.
This
Lisa.
is why. Okay. You guys, everyone out there, a lot of women listen to this. I assume a lot of women who've had babies. And so your boobs get big or small or whatever, they change. I am looking for a very good running bra right now. I cannot find one to save my life. I had them. I'm running with running bras from the 90s. They were the best. They were amazing way back then. I have 3 of them. That's all I have left. I need a good running bra, one that literally, I don't want like padding. I don't want metal underneath the thing. I want a really good sturdy one that I can breathe, but yet holds them in.
Okay.
Right in. Okay.
People, your mom,
your mom
mafia, we need some help here for Lisa's Tatas.
Help.
SOS.
Random.
All right, there we go. So we need a good running sports bra. Should we just end here? I think this was
Can
good
people
for
just
today.
start writing in now or calling, whatever it is? Yeah, email. That's it. We're done.
We got to figure out how to do
call running
call-ins.
bra. Good. That's the key to mothering.
We got to figure out a call-in show. I think it would be really great to have people be able to call in.
So good.
That's
did you ever hear Late Night Delilah? She had the best. Remember that?
Delilah?
Yeah. Do you remember
Talk
that?
about like nostalgia. And I mean, anytime and she's still on, I think she is. Every now and then I'll hear her like,
hey, it's Delilah. Thank you for stopping by.
And it reminded me of Sunday nights with my mom in Ann
Aw.
Arbor, Michigan. We'd be driving around and like there was a sadness, but also something so soothing. Like it was, and all these people would call in and just bare their souls
Yeah. Yes.
to her. And she would
Really.
always just have the right, perfect thing to say.
Yeah.
And
And in
I
that
just,
voice, like how could you
yeah,
not listen when she's talking like that?
we're kind
revive
of like
Except
Delilah.
the only thing is or at least I sound like I've been smoking like cigarettes my whole life since I got out of the womb. My annoying voice. Oh.
Delilah, maybe we're not quite like Delilah. Like Delilah didn't talk over the listeners. Like Delilah didn't like ask for
Actually
sports
listen.
bra recommendations in the middle of an.
Dude, if I get
Yeah.
one, I'm like, whoever finds me the perfect sports bra, I'm sending them a Your Mom basket with everything under the sun.
Okay. Did you hear that, everybody? So
Yeah.
now there's a little bit more incentive. Okay. All right. On to the mailbag.
Okay.
Are we ready?
More important, mailbag.
Ah. Okay. This one I got via email.
Mm.
How is the wedding planning going,
Oh.
and what is the hardest part of it so far? For those who may not know,
Yeah, I've just, that is
Christian
oh, yeah. Okay.
is engaged to Olivia, and they got engaged, what, like 2 months ago at this point?
Yep, like,
Almost?
yep,
In April?
April, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's
Good question,
it's
yep.
somewhat new, but yeah,
Mhm.
how's it going?
So I've literally asked that question probably 3 times a day, which is so good. But keep in mind, I'm the mother of the groom, so my job is to sit down, shut up, and wear beige. That's what I've been told. So, which is absolutely not gonna happen for the record.
I was gonna
Because
say,
as
how's
they
that
all know,
going?
any girl that comes into my kid's life, I'm like, "Look, honey, I don't have daughters, and you gotta, like, at least feed my appetite for a little bit of this stuff, so let me help a little bit." That's all I ask. Like flowers, I wanna do something really feminine. So, anyway, to answer your question, they interviewed, I don't know, like 20 wedding planners, and I think they narrowed it down to one, and they're actually meeting today with
Okay.
the wedding planner I think that they are going to use. So I will
Great.
know more at the end of the day. I
Okay.
don't have a lot of answers. I don't know where it's going to be, when it's going to be, any of that. So stay tuned. I'm on the edge of my seat, just like everybody else. So
You're wearing beige on the edge of your seat in the corner of the room.
in the
That's
corner,
what
and then I'm
do.
shutting my mouth, and everything's perfect, and I'm just gonna, everything's good. So no, it's gonna be awesome. But prior to that, I hope I'm allowed to. There's an engagement party coming up that
Oh,
will be really fun, and the requirements, you have to wear white. Everybody has to wear white.
I love that.
I'm like,
That's so
Christian, are
fun.
you like Christian? Who do you think you are, P.
What's
Diddy?
he gonna do? Yeah.
Calm down,
I
Christian.
mean, he's very similar,
I
I would
have to
say.
say, I'm excited about it because I love having a little like a theme or some guidance.
Oh, yeah.
However, think about this though, the boys and Ed, men in white,
I
sometimes,
cannot wait to see
yeah,
Ed. Like,
in the
please
linen
take every
suit.
picture of
Oh,
him in like I mean, it has to be, is it all white? You have to be
well,
all white.
so somebody asked if their husband could wear like a light khaki pants,
And
and
you said not if he wants to come.
I said, "Look, I'm the mother of the groom, and I have the right to say yes, so game on, game on." He can wear light khaki pants, yes. I gave him that permission. I didn't even call Olivia and ask her. So anyway, I'm at a
Woohoo!
wedding already. So
You've gone rogue. The mother-in-law's gone rogue.
it's crazy.
You're
So
gonna show up in an all black dress and just exert your, just so you know, I'm not a rule follower, Olivia. I'm not
right,
gonna do everything you say.
that's what I've been threatening. I have this bright pink flowered dress. I wore it last night. I'm like, this is what I'm wearing. Look at me. No, I'm looking for. So if anybody else besides the sports bra, the running bra, anyone
has
has
a
a
good
good white
white.
outfit, holler. So
I love it. This is good.
my
See,
hot pursuit.
this is where we're helping people, but they're really helping. They're
Yeah,
really helping us. So,
exactly. Yeah.
okay, I got.
Anyway,
Katie Ryan asked, "What was your favorite? How was your Mother's Day, and what was your favorite part?" So we said that Mother's Day was good. Did you have a favorite part of Mother's Day?
I did. Yes. At one point in the day, first of all, so Dylan and his girlfriend came over and they planted flowers all in my yard, and it was so amazing. It was magical. That was really
Oh,
cool. I kind of like hinted that I wanted that. So they
yeah.
planted some beautiful perennials in the yard all over. So it's so fun. I walk out and I look at them and it makes me think of them. And then while we were out there just hanging out in the yard, I got a call from Christian. Then Max jumps on. Then Dylan jumps on. Then Luke jumps on. So we had a call from all of them. So it was a really fun FaceTime.
Oh,
It was
that's
really fun. Yeah.
awesome. I love
So
that. So you were with them. You were with them together in some way.
in some way, yeah. And it was fun. We always have a lively conversation when we all FaceTime. It's fun.
Who sucks up the most? Like, who talks the most?
It varies.
Yeah.
Probably me, if anyone, because I'm most annoying. But no, it really does. Absolutely, it does. It varies. It varies. And we were all laughing at Max. That was when we were all laughing at Max for going, "Hi, Mom, it's your
It's
son,
your
Max."
son, Max.
Hey, Mom, it's your son, Max.
Thanks, buddy. I had no idea. That's so weird. I'm glad you clarified.
Like I said, I'll take the blame on that one. Tell Max sorry.
Hey, it's Max's birthday today too. Shout out
Oh,
to Max.
happy birthday,
Happy
Max.
birthday,
That's
Max.
right.
29 years ago.
That's actually in my phone. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but
No
it's in
way.
my phone. Yes, it is. Well, I think it's because I got all of your boys' numbers from our dear friend Stacy, Aunt
Oh yeah.
Stacy.
Yeah.
And so when I saved all of them, she obviously has their birthdays
Oh,
saved in the
right. In her,
contacts. So
yeah.
now I know all of their birthdays. So
Good.
I
Oh,
won't
good.
miss
So you
any
can
of them.
send the gifts.
So now
That'd
I
be
can send them
perfect.
all the very expensive gifts that I have.
Perfect.
For them. Yes.
Yeah.
I owe Max for sure.
Yeah.
This year.
At least a call. Give him a call.
Yeah, because I'm sure he's going to want to hear from me.
Hey, Max, it's Ashley. I'm not asking you to do anything this time. Just wanted to wish you happy birthday.
Checking. I'm going to call him. I am
You
totally
should.
going to call
Please
him
do.
today.
Please
I will.
do.
I'm going
I think
to. I'll
it would make
FaceTime. Do you think he would pick up a FaceTime?
definitely FaceTime him. Yeah.
He'd
Or
be like,
do like a
"Oh man, my mom's podcast partner is really getting over her skis. Like she thinks we're friends now." She's like,
knocker. Or just do a really
"Oh."
intimate Instagram post about how you wish him happy birthday.
Oh yeah, I should do that. Because
Grab.
I didn't do that for any of my kids. I'm like, I all of a sudden their birthdays passed. Like Cora's turned 4 the other day, and I had
Nice.
all of these great pictures and photos, and I was going to do this thing, and then I just all of a sudden it was 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, I'm tired, and she's not going to see this. So who am I
Why?
doing this for? Like, I'll heart it and remember it and look at it next year.
Yeah, but maybe you know what? You need to start doing it because people then will start
We'll
remembering
then
and
look.
get some kick-ass gifts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
Start
It's
doing
all
It's
about the
all about
gifts.
the
Good
gift.
point.
It's all
Okay.
about
All
the
right. I'll go
present.
back. I'll do a belated, but I'll do Max first.
Thank
Okay, this is a great question. Sarah Cazell, she always comes with the good questions.
Sarah's the best.
What she is. What are the leftover kid names you
Oh,
decided not to use or never got to use?
that's huge. Yeah.
That
Oh,
is huge because this are so hard because you
yeah.
know for two people to agree on a name that they both like, that goes with the last name, that doesn't remind them of someone that they don't like, that also, potentially honors someone in the family, or there's so many dynamics around naming a child that I didn't quite fully realize. So I will say the girl's name that I loved, that I really never used, but I thought about naming Cora this, was Lila. Lila is one of my favorite names. I think it's just so perfect. But we decided after we named our son Collins, which is actually a girl. I mean, it's both, but it's a girl's name.
Collins? No, that's to me.
Well,
That's
I think it's
great name.
both. There's did you see The Blind Side? Like that's where I first heard the name, that I really loved it. There's the girl in the Blind
Is
Side.
her
is
name?
named
Oh, I didn't
Collins.
even.
There's
Oh,
a daughter. The daughter is, yeah.
Because the boy is initials.
Yeah. Yeah. And I felt like, and whenever we tell people Collins' name, they always repeat it like Collins
with an
And
S.
so I said, I just need to have another name that you don't have to explain. And I feel like Lila, people would call Lily or I don't know. I just needed it to be easy. Like Cora, people can get. So
Cora's so cool.
and it's so good for her.
One of them, and it is.
Yeah, it's an old name.
Her and it's perfect. I love it.
Yeah. And her nickname, by the way, my mother-in-law really always dreamed of having a granddaughter name that she could call Coco. So Cora Coakley, like it would have been the perfect Coco. But her nickname, you can never pick people's nicknames. It just sort of happens.
Yeah.
There was this little boy that she used to, like one of her very first friends used to call her Rara. And so now we call her Rara, which is the most perfect.
Now that you say that, and I've
It's the
seen her
most
and met
perfect
her
name
and
for
know
her.
that couldn't be more perfect.
Uh-huh.
Wow. That is
Yes.
spot on.
She is the Rara of Rara. So yeah, I would say Lila is one. I really like the name Elle. That was another.
Cute.
Boys' names are impossible. Boys' names are so hard, which is why we gave our son a kind of a girl's name. So what were on your list? Yeah, I mean it's not a girl's name.
Okay, but I've always wondered Colin. I get, but the S. Talk to me about the S, which is
well,
cool.
that's the thing.
Because I think of Miami Beach. Grew up in Miami Beach, Collins Avenue.
Yes, and so it's 2 L's. That's exactly how it's spelled. Yep.
Collins Avenue.
I don't know. I just always it's like a take
cool.
on exactly, and that's what's so hard about boys' names, to have them be unique but not weird.
But not weird.
Really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
So what was left on your list? Do you remember?
Okay, so one of them was 7, and I'm kidding. Soda? No.
What about
No.
what about lawnmower?
Oh, yeah.
Lawnmower would be a great name.
Yeah,
I'm throwing it out there for anyone looking. Lawnmower
anyone.
is
Yeah,
a
it's
great
really
name.
just kind of rolls off the tongue.
It's like Madonna. You don't need a last name if your name
Totally.
is Lawnmower.
Cher, Madonna, you don't need yeah.
Yeah.
No. Gosh, I actually asked Ed this morning because I had forgotten because the boys, like, it just was a blur. And like
Yeah.
Luke, we named because he was on the list 4 times or like for 4 times in a row. And we're like, well, this has been on the list 4 times. Let's just name him Luke. We're exhausted. Whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, he was Luke. So, but one of them was Spencer.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You think that he would have gotten beat up if his name was Spencer? It's a
Well,
little
the
preppy.
the 2 meanest kids
Mm.
me growing up were both named Spencer.
That's
So
why
I don't have a
because of
good
that. Because of those
yeah.
2 kids, we didn't do
Yeah.
it. 'Cause
I'm
of
glad you knew. I'm glad. See,
yeah,
we've been connected for a long time up here.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kid
Okay.
Spencer at Mullen, he was a
Yeah.
dick. Yep, hated him.
I hope Spencer is not listening to this. And if he is, I'm sure
If
he's
he is,
grown because I
don't be a
saw
dick
something in him. I saw something in him
that he had
that I
some
knew
goodness
that he
in
had
there.
some goodness in him. But hurt people, Lisa.
Hurt exactly. Ding, ding, ding. Spencer was going through it at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Spencer. That's good. I
And
like
then
that.
another one was Blue. Ed reminded me we were gonna do a middle name Blue. We thought that'd be kind of fun,
Oh.
but we didn't take the plunge and do it. Well, speaking of Nick's names, when Christian was born, his name's Christian Jackson. So we called him CJ for a while. So some people still have lingered that and
Oh,
call him CJ.
wow.
Not many, but anyway, no, we don't. But that was
I couldn't even imagine him as
a CJ.
CJ.
Yeah,
What did you call, like, what's his nickname what do you call him? I mean, Christian, but when you shorten it?
Krish. Like I don't know, but Christian. I usually just say it, which is
Yeah.
I never thought I would. I thought there'd be a nickname and that would come out of it, but no, there's not. It's Christian.
Do you call him, because my mother-in-law does this with Chris, she uses first name and last name. So do you call him Christian
Christian.
McCaffrey?
Christian McAfee. Yeah, that's exactly how I call him all the time. Because
You just refer to him. We always give my mother-in-law, and I love you, Pam. I'm gonna give you a shout out at the end of this thing. But we laugh all the time because she's always like, Chris Coakley, and we're always like, because there might be another Chris that you're referring to.
because you never know. You never know. You mean who knows who's in your house? There may be another
So
Chris. Could have been, yeah, anyone.
they're very formal in our house.
Wow.
Okay,
No, we
great
were
ones. That was a good
formal.
one. What was your girl's name? What was your girl's
Okay,
name
that's what I was
be?
going to say. So Max was conceived, as a lot of people, in Madison, New Jersey, on the football fields of Fairleigh Dickinson. That's a whole other story. So we were going to name, if Max was a girl, which I thought he was for however until they could learn what he was. We were going to name him Madison. So whatever, but which is a very common name now. It's a beautiful name. I know so many Madisons.
Yeah, I know a lot of Madisons too. It is a beautiful name though. I love it.
But it's a lot of names. So maybe God said, you know what? There's too many Madisons. Just take a boy and go with it.
Boy. And Max is from,
Max
is that where you guys, did you guys meet there?
No, it was our first date. Remember we went to
right.
Max's Opera Cafe, and there was a little article in Sports Illustrated, and had it described how we named him from Max's Opera
That's
Cafe.
awesome.
In Palo Alto. And they used to have the waiters and waitresses would stand on the tables and sing opera, which was really cool.
I do remember this.
That was my first taste of 7-layer cookie. And
which we talked about. If you haven't listened to our very first episode, go back and listen to that because Lisa describes this 7-layer cookie that I still dream about. So
really, that's what made me fall in love with Ed. It wasn't
like
Ed.
It had nothing to do with that. It was just a 7-layer cookie. Yeah. Well, did you ever imagine when you named him Max that, 26 years later, you'd be getting hi, Mom, this is Max.
Hi, Max. This is your son, Max. Yeah. I'm so glad he clarified that because I wasn't sure. Like,
hey, Mom, it's your son, Max.
It would have been good if he did first name, last name.
Is this Mike?
Hi, Mom,
Daniel?
this is your son, Max McCaffrey.
Yeah, right. Max McCaffrey. Remember? Hi.
Now I'm in a car so mad at your podcast co-host for making me do this.
Right now, because I'm in the middle of a rookie mini camp and I don't have a second to even call my girlfriend. But hey, Mom. Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks, Ashley. Oh, okay. We've got a couple more really good ones that I want to get to. Okay. So 4Gen's fam says, how did being raised by a single mom influence you both as a mom? And I would caveat that to say my mom was a single mom kind of from the beginning with me. And when did your mom eventually leave your dad?
They were married for 38 years. because
Okay.
my mom doesn't know how to figure out when someone's cheating. She's not real
Mm.
good with that radar. But she learned. She got
She learned.
she learned.
She learned, which we talked about in that episode in a very beautiful way, I think.
When someone cheats on you for 38 years, you get used to it. Anyway, so yeah, it took her a little while, but that's okay.
But she was a
Better
single
late than
mom
never.
in her own way because she was the parent. She was
literally the parent. So
was
she was
both.
like, looking back, she literally was
Yeah.
like the main source of love and nurturing and everything. But yeah, so she didn't divorce my dad till I was pregnant with Christian. So I was already married and had 2 kids. So I did technically raised in a completely dysfunctional home with a mom and dad, but there was a mom and dad there. There was a dad somewhere every now and then. He would
Well,
come in the picture.
and
So
I will just
it wasn't the same as what you went through with a single mom. So you answer the question, because I don't.
But I think to just put, but really quick before I answer it, the one thing I would point out is that I think it's can be more detrimental and a lot harder for kids when they see that dysfunction and that's what they grow up with. And there's all different versions of dysfunction, right? But I hear so many times, and I've had mostly men say this to me, like, we're going to stay together for the kids. And I'm like, you are not doing your kids any favors. If the
Right.
only reason that you are still staying married is because of the kids, you're not doing them any favors. And
Right.
I believe that wholeheartedly, because I think that one of the most important things, you model what a marriage is to your kids.
Right.
And
And what I witnessed, nobody should go
yes,
through. And what I
exactly.
endured, nobody should. Yeah.
Right. So I think that in some ways, like, yeah, but I mean, of course, do I wish that my mom wasn't a single mom for the entire time she raised me? Yeah, would have loved for her to have found somebody. But I think, to me, and I've said this a million times, and I said this to her in our interview when I sat down with her, she really gave me the confidence to just know that whatever comes my way, whatever happens in life, like, you can just figure it out, and you don't need anybody else
Wow.
to have you figure it out. And that's one
Powerful.
of the most powerful feelings that you can have,
That
especially as a
gives
young
you
woman.
incredible security in a way.
It is. I'm just like,
Really
okay, if my
supporting
lot
that.
in life is to be a single mom, okay. If my lot in
Right.
life is to be alone, okay. Like,
You will be okay.
I'm going to be okay. And
Yeah.
I saw her go through all this stuff, and I'm like, she didn't need anybody else. Now, would she have liked to? And again, am I putting out in the universe that her life partner is still out there somewhere? I do believe in that. And
We're working on
I've
it.
gotten some good
We've got some good
feedbacks and people who are interested. There's been
I
some
actually have
nibbles
one
on the
interested in
line.
my mom too. I got to tell you that story too.
See, I mean,
Game on.
this could be a whole spinoff of the podcast. We're like,
share our
whatever
parents.
Zach Wilson is, we're the opposite of Zach Wilson. Pimping out our moms.
Pimp your mom.
I think
Pimp
we'd
my
really
mom.
get some sponsors on board if we did a Pimp Your
Oh,
Mom.
game on. Yeah.
Next season on Pimp Your Mom. But yeah, that was very formative to me. So I think your kids see how you handle things and what you go through, and they learn at every step of the way, whether or not you think you're teaching them or not. They
So,
absorb it. So
I want to go back to one quick question. So when you interviewed your mom, she talked about how she was really sad and she would try not to be sad because she didn't want you guys to be sad. Did you pick up on that? Did you pick
Oh
up
yeah.
on her sadness? You did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you were kind of selfish.
My mom was, yeah, I was just like, oh, she's fine. No,
Whatever, she's fine.
it was,
Not me.
I'm going to be totally honest here. Like, there was a lot of sadness in our house.
Did you
I mean,
worry about her?
oh my God. I told Chris the other night, I have this vivid memory of, I heard her in a fight with her boyfriend. And this was one of the guys who I'd liked, who had been around for a long time, who he was a good guy. And they were in an argument, and I could tell that it was like a breakup because you could just tell. And I'm probably 8 or 9. And I just remember laying in my bed. I was like in tears, and I was praying. I was like saying a prayer to God to not let them break up, because I didn't want my mom to be alone again or sad.
Right.
And it was this really poignant memory that I have. And so, and it's funny because my friend Judy, the one who gave me the questions for my mom, I went on a walk with her the other day, and she said something that really I had never thought about. And maybe this is true, but she said, I think one of the reasons that you have empathy and that I see it come naturally to you is that really hard time in your life when you were younger and you saw your mom going through a lot of pain, like, you had empathy for her. It built that muscle up.
Right.
And I think that's true, because as a kid, I worried about her for sure. Yeah. I worried about her and still do. I worry about her a lot less now because she's in a great place. But I think as a kid, yeah, I saw how sad she was. We'd be getting ready to leave for school, and all of a sudden, and I've done this a couple times, but all of a sudden I wouldn't be able to find my mittens or something. And she would just like break down and start
For
crying.
something small, but it's really about something
Yes,
big. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Like, just
Of
you could
course.
tell the weight of the world was
Her
on
cup
her.
was too
So
full. It was exploding.
yes,
Yeah.
too much. It was just
Oh,
too much. So I think that as much as, you can I think it's important to talk to your kids about things that you're going through and letting them know, like, hey, even adults, we do not have it figured out. Because
right.
I do think something, and this is really interesting. I think there is a point, and I was talking to Judy about this, that happens is when you're little, you have this vision of your parents, or a lot of people do, maybe of your mom, that they're these perfect, like they've got it all figured out. They're perfect.
Right.
Like
Because
I
they're
remember I
older,
found an
right.
eraser. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just assume because they're your
Because they're
parents and they
adults.
have the
Yeah.
answers.
Yeah.
I remember I found an eraser in my mom's drawer in her office, and I was like, Mom, you make mistakes? Like, I was
No way.
dumbfounded. Yes, she tells that story
Wow.
all the time, because I was just like, "What?
Yeah.
You have to erase stuff? Like, I can't even
You
believe
should
it."
just know because you're old.
Yeah, because 'cause you're older and you're my mom, and like, whenever I ask you about why something, you say, "'Cause I'm the mom," and that's a good enough reason for me at this stage. And then when you get older, you start to realize, like,
You
"Oh,
need that
no."
eraser.
Yeah, and that they've got their own shit and their
Right.
own stuff and their own lives and all of this other baggage that had nothing to do, that was there before you came along, and as you mentioned earlier, they have this whole life before you arrive, and you don't acknowledge that. And I think the third, to bring it full circle, is to go from holding them in this high regard to then feeling disappointed because
Because 'Cause they're not as
they're
perfect as
not
you thought
perfect,
they
because 'cause they're
were.
human.
No one
Yep,
is. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're a human being.
Right.
And then the way to bring it full circle that Judy was talking about is, she said, and then you end up having empathy and love and understanding of why they are the way that they are. And some of their shortcomings are because of things that they had in their childhood and in their lives,
Right.
and they're doing the best that they can. And so it is this sort of full circle thing that you hope you can come all the way around
Yeah.
to.
You
But I
wanna
thought
be
it was really
born
interesting.
into, like, the perfect family. You want to be born, you think, the vision of the
Yes.
mom and dad that love each other and love you no matter what and everything, and honest to God, the more you talk to people, nobody has that.
Nobody
No
has
one
that.
has the perfect. I mean, you can have great parents and whatnot, but
Yeah,
everybody has some sort of dysfunction, and the only way to get rid of it and evolve and be better is to talk about it and deal with
so
it and
true.
have empathy for each other and whatnot, so, yeah.
I couldn't agree more, which is what I think you and I
And
have realized in spades that this
yeah,
podcast is all about. And you know
right.
what's cool too, Lisa, is that I feel like I'll call you, or we'll
Yeah.
chat, or even before we start recording one of these, and all of a sudden we'll get down the rabbit hole, and we're like in a therapy session for like
Totally.
45 minutes talking like
Really a
the
lot,
deepest dark, like we ask each
yeah.
other. It's never like, how are you doing? It's all of a sudden we're talking about,
Like,
how do
"Hey."
you think this
Yeah,
impacted
how'd
you as
your
a
dad
child, or how did
feel
your
when you
dad
guys
feel?
moved back? Or, like, crazy heavy questions, not even like yeah, we go right into
Which
it
we go
too.
right into it, which is so, I appreciate
It's
that
yeah,
because you don't, you
we're both
know
it's like we're all I'm trying to figure it out to present the best person I can be to help my kids. Like,
yeah,
what did I need that I didn't get that I can maybe now have for my kids?
exactly.
Whatever, and I'm sure they have issues. I'm sure they have things that I've done that have messed them up, but I hope that I've created a space that they feel comfortable, they can talk to me about it. I hope. I hope. I hope. I don't
I
know.
think, if you ever
Max
question that, just go listen
McCaffrey,
to
my
those
oldest
messages.
child.
Max McCaffrey. Just go back and listen to those messages from your boys, and anytime that you question whether or not you created that warmth and that space and that tenderness, just go listen to those and you'll be
Yeah, thanks.
well reassured. So, yeah, but that was a good question, and I think, there's probably a lot more to it than that, but we'll leave it there for now. But yeah, it definitely impacts how you are. But if you're staying together for the kids, you're
No,
not
yeah,
doing them any favors. That's all I
right,
will say.
right, and the kids know, they sense
The
it, they
kids
sense
know. The kids know. Okay, another really good one. Empty nesting, any tips?
this is my you're not
And
going
I
to
I I was gonna say, now
sit down, sit
I
down.
do have a tag.
I'm kidding, I'm joking.
You
Don't
have the
take that.
floor. Lisa
This
McCaffrey,
is
you have the
my
floor.
forte right now, empty nesting. Okay, at first, I was scared to death, like, "Where's my identity? What is this? What am I gonna do? Oh my gosh," I'm like was sad for about 2 weeks, and then I completely embraced it, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I remember we talked about this on another podcast where you would go be on an airplane with your kids, and I remember being on airplanes with all 4 of my boys. We were the most hated people coming on the plane. They'd see all these little boys, loud, obnoxious, physical, and everyone rolled their eyes like, "Please don't be sitting next to me." And I just remember looking over at, like, these young girls reading. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how are they just sitting on an airplane reading? That is a dream." Well, that's what I do now. I can read. I've like rediscovered myself. We talked about that on one of our calls the other day. And oh my gosh, it's just, I can be find myself, and I embraced it and I love it. And it makes me cherish the times I have with my kids now. And like Dylan lives nearby. I see him every now and then, and I love my time I spend with him. And they go home. I don't know. I really like it. Maybe too much. Is that wrong?
No, I love this, Lisa. And I think that this narrative needs to be out there more, because I was talking to a mom who became an empty nester last year. And she said the same thing. She had so much trepidation and sadness leading up to it. And now she's like, guess what? I get to go to my favorite Mexican restaurant, and
Whenever.
my kids never liked this Mexican restaurant. And now I go all the time.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I'm traveling more. I'm able to go,
Yes.
her husband travels a lot for work. She's like, now I can go on trips with him and not feel like I'm missing something by not being home. And she's like, my life is just like blossomed in some ways. She goes, yeah, do I miss this? Like, it's a definitive end to a chapter of your life that is not coming back. I think that's the
right.
reality.
And that's sad when you think about it. Like, I get
really
sad when I think I will probably never have, I mean, I can't say never, but probably not very few and far between, have all 4 kids asleep in my house, which I used to cherish that time when we were all under the same roof. You just felt like, oh, so secure. You know where they are they're asleep, and they're at peace. It's just for, I loved that time, and I probably won't ever get that back, which that makes me sad. But then I'm like, well, but then there's other benefits too.
Yes, it is life, and every phase of life has something, and every phase of parenthood has something that you're losing something that you cherished, but you're gaining something that is new. And I think as long as you look at it that way, that this falls right into that. So I love that you're embracing it.
Yeah, no, and I love it. And you wouldn't want your kids living in, for I mean, it's okay if they're living with you for a while, but like forever, you wouldn't want them living with you forever and, being stagnant and, just them. So you want them to evolve and grow, and you can appreciate that people they're becoming and be there to help guide them along the way too, hopefully. So
the odd thing about motherhood and parenthood is that it is your job to put yourself out of a job as efficiently as you can, like as soon and as efficiently as that you can. Like that is the whole point.
You want to retire young.
Yes, exactly. Like you do not want to keep them in the nest. They are supposed to go out, and that is your job, is to raise them. And sometimes for a lot of reasons and a lot of emotional things and all of the rest. But I think it's hard to remember that. But your job as a mom is to put yourself out of a job.
Yeah. No,
as soon as you can.
Yeah.
I did one thing that I will add to this is I texted my dad, and because I said, we got this question about empty nesting, and what do you remember about that time? And he wrote me he said, here's my advice. He said, approach it with excitement and not fear, opportunity, not loss, and congratulations, not discouragement.
Good.
And he said, it is 94% in the framing, and you will get largely what you expect. So you have achieved the biggest part of being what you want to be for your kids. And now it's their turn to go out into the world. So I thought that was good. And the other last thing I will say is, for those of you who, I don't know if many of you are familiar with Kelly Corrigan. She has an amazing podcast called Kelly Corrigan Wonders, and she gets real about empty nesting. There is one episode that I've been listening to recently that is so good. And anyone, even if you have young kids or you're in the empty nesting phase, like I'm going to link to it in the notes. It is a great listen. And she offers a lot of poignant, advice and sort of lenses through which to look at it through. Do you remember Sonia Curry talking about how when her youngest daughter left,
I remember
she
her.
was, do you remember her name? I think I'm pronouncing it right. Sonia Curry.
Yeah.
She said that she was depressed. She went to the doctor and was going through all these things. And the doctor was like, you're depressed, and that's okay. But like, let's figure out how to help you get through this.
Yeah.
But she was like, I've never been depressed in my life.
Right.
And all of a sudden I'm an empty nester, and she really struggled with it. So it's okay if you're.
And she was coming out of it when we talked to her, which was so nice. And she was trying to find herself again, which is really sweet. I remember her story about, she went off to like, almost like a retreat instead of Thanksgiving with her family. And I'm like, wow, you know what? Good for you. She did something for herself that she really wanted. She didn't want to sit around and cook for the cook. And, you spent all those years doing that. I've done that. You've done that. And she just said, you know what? I want to go off into the mountains or in a retreat and just sort of like be by myself. And it was a not talking retreat. I don't know if I could do that, but God bless her.
I know. God bless. I'm not there in my evolution yet.
Yeah.
I would need to do the opposite. I'd like wherever you could go there, I could just get it all out.
Exactly.
All right. Well, good luck to everyone who is, because this is a interesting time of year.
It's a great time. Look at it as a positive, as a great time. You've done an incredible job, and it's your time now. Rediscover yourself.
Amen to that. Okay, we've got a few more, but we're gonna end on this last one. What is next on your bucket list?
Mm,
Because we both have crossed some things off on our bucket list that we've
yes.
talked about. I
Yep.
went to Paris with my mom, took a trip of a lifetime, and that was amazing.
Love it.
I'll answer first, and then I'll ask
Okay.
you.
Okay, good.
I would say that mine is I want it to be service oriented.
Well, look at you. You're better than
Well,
us.
no, because I think if
Good.
I don't add it, I don't say it out loud
Oh,
and like
right.
actually, because there's all
And
these
we
things that I'm like,
talked
oh, I'd love to go volunteer and do that. I'd love to do this. I'd love to do that. And unless I really commit to it and make it kind of a bucket list thing of,
Mhm.
no, go figure out a time, even if it's once every 2 months to go do something. So I've been thinking a lot about what that looks like. And um, I think I'm going to go start volunteering with the church that I go to. They have a prison ministry.
Oh,
And
cool. I
I
love
think I'm
it.
gonna start going, yeah, maybe once a month, and you go visit with people who don't get to talk to people and
Wow.
who are hurting more than anyone. And I may go once and decide that it's not for me, but I feel like it
Ooh, I
keeps
wanna go
coming up
with
in
you.
my
Can I
heart.
go with
So
you? I wanna
yeah,
go with you. I
oh,
would love to do that. That
I
would be
just think it would be really, I think it's really meaningful. And again, I'll probably know after a time or two if it's something that is sustainable, but it keeps coming up in my head. So that is my next thing on my bucket list. And I hope everyone here holds me accountable that I actually go do it. I've
I
started the
will.
process.
I will. Now that you put it out there and I know
Put it
that
out there.
it's done.
Yep.
Yep, it'll happen.
Okay. What about you?
Oh, well, one thing I definitely wanna do, the next, I would say year or 2, I would love to, like, go on adventure with my boys or some of them, like,
Mm,
go to Alaska or go to Europe and bike or just do something and something physical. Because like, I learned about myself that I don't love to go vacations where you just sit. I feel
sit.
guilty.
Yeah,
I
same.
have to say, like, I could do that for a day, like, go to Mexico and sit and just eat, whatever, but I feel guilty. I'm like, "Okay, no, I have to move. I have to do something." So I started thinking, "Why don't I take vacations where I'm actually doing something and I'm
Yeah.
active?" And who better to do it with than my adult son?
I love
I
that.
thought
And
that would be
especially
really
while
fun.
you still can. I think that's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Well, I still can, yeah, because tomorrow I probably won't be able to.
You never know what tomorrow brings. You
Yeah,
may not
who
be
knows?
able to.
And then my other fun bucket list thing is, I almost don't even wanna say it because it has to happen. I wanna dress up in a mascot outfit so nobody knows it's me. Like, I probably like for like I would love to be like Sourdough Sam for a game and just mess with fans and mess with the players
Oh my
and, like,
God.
not have them know it's me and just do, like, stupid stuff just kinda to get them mad, but, like, funny mad.
Let's make that happen.
And it doesn't even have to be at a game, like, if they're at I don't know, if they're at a charity basketball game or a charity
Yeah.
to go in and be
You
silly,
would be a hell of a
like
mascot.
flip someone's cap, like, I could see Christian with his, like, baseball cap and flip his cap. I don't know, it'd be so fun.
And have it be that he doesn't know. That would be the
Oh,
key. That
100%.
you
Oh,
have
yeah,
to go mess with him
nobody
and he
knows
doesn't know.
except the guy helping me get in the hot costume. That's it. That's just a
Those are 2 great bucket list items. All
yeah,
right. I love that. And I do think taking a trip with just your kids
yeah. And it
is
doesn't even
really
I would love all of them because I think that'd be so
right
fun, but even who as many as I can because it's just so hard to get everybody off
at
at
the
the
same
same time. I mean,
time.
look
I
at
know.
Christian and Olivia, they're trying to plan a wedding date, and it's very difficult.
How do they even figure
No,
that out? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the mother of the boy. I
You're the
don't have
mother.
it
You
figured out.
just you just sit quietly with your mouth shut
There's a
and look
whiteboard, they have
nice.
charts and graphs and maps, and they're everybody's
Oh
schedule.
my God.
Uh,
Okay. Great questions, everyone.
yeah,
Thank you. And
thank
there were
you.
more
These
that
are fun.
we always save them for the next mailbag episode because these are fun. We get to hit a bunch of different topics and it always takes us in a new direction.
Yeah.
And I just want to say before we say goodbye, we asked our followers on Instagram, which if you're not following us at Your Mom Podcast, 4 underscores. Don't do 3, don't do 2.
Mm-mm,
It's
it's 4
4.
underscores because I have
Mhm.
4 boys. Oh,
Yeah, that's
right,
exactly why we did that. Yeah.
'cause
But
everybody else has a 3 in the
we
2.
asked everybody, what do you admire most about your mom?
Yes.
And
Oh, I
I
have
was just reading them this morning and I just had the biggest smile on my face. Like it really was heartwarming. So a lot of the responses were about, her ability to put everybody first, her patience and passion for her kids, like all the stuff that you might expect that still is just, encapsulating what a mom is. But I just wanted to read off a couple that I totally loved. Uh, Laura Fagan said she is forgiving and
Oh,
doesn't hold grudges,
that
which
was
is maybe one of the most underrated qualities in a human being.
that was one, thing I actually had on my 3rd thing on my bucket list. I have to be
Forgiving.
honest, I had that on my bucket list to forgive and have more grace and try,
Lisa, that
try.
is you're gonna make me cry now for the first time on this podcast. That is a huge let's do a podcast on forgiveness because I have so many feelings about it.
Oh
I
gosh,
really,
okay.
truly, I do. So I
Okay.
love that.
Deal.
That we should have led with that. I
Yeah.
love
I
that's
know. I got
and that
scared.
was the
I
thing
got
when I
scared.
saw this. Yeah, no, but when I saw I'm glad then that I read this because when I read it, I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah. Wow.
that is such an admirable thing." And when you think about the people in your life, I'm like, "Wow, I don't know who the most forgiving person is in my life." Like, there's not somebody that immediately comes to mind as like, "Oh, they're really forgiving." And it's a rare quality because of people that hold on to pain, and there's a lot of reasons why. We all do.
Right.
So I love that.
Yeah.
Rob Ryan said she was kind to everyone of every background and talked to everyone too. Her tenacity to do what was right for her kids, regardless of what other parents were doing. I like that one.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Zach said whether she knows it or not, it's because of her that all of her children are happy in their adult lives, which
Aw.
is what every
Isn't
mom
that what
hopes.
you want? Yeah.
Yep. And then Susan Hild said her strength. After my dad died unexpectedly, she said, I need to put my big girl pants on and go do this. At the age of 85, she has blossomed.
Wow. Wow.
Um, and then, okay, two more. Furphy 31, her ability to lift up others and validate my very eccentric, exhausting aunt. So, yes,
Good
let's hear
job,
it for the
Murphy.
moms who can love the people in our families who need it most. Way to go.
Good
Way to
job,
go,
Murphy.
Mama Furphy. Yeah. And then lastly, Katie Claiborne said, can we get a shout out to mother-in-laws? And I will say,
Oh,
hell yes, especially since you're about to become one.
yes. Oh
Have you
gosh.
thought about what kind of mother-in-law you want to be?
I'm trying. I'm just trying to I don't know. I just want to be there for them.
Yeah.
That's it. And whatever they need,
Just
not judge, not, they can, people, they're going to do things differently than the way we did. And that's
yeah,
okay.
that's
That's
okay.
good.
Yeah.
They've evolved. They've taken it. We were talking about this last night. We had a birthday dinner for friends and two of them are grandmothers now. And I guess the new thing about having babies is there are no blankets. It's like the weirdest thing. The one mom's like, you don't have a blanket near the baby. And I'm like, what? I'd like throw, like my Christian still sleeps with blankets. So yeah.
Yes.
Note. It's going to be on the wire now.
I hope that's on the fan sites.
But he's no, and I'm like, wait,
There's gonna be
what?
a sign opening day that Christian sleeps with a blankie.
Two blankies.
2 blankies.
They're little. They're the best. I'm all for it.
I love that so
It's
much.
because he had a really bad mom, so that was his security.
Yes, he needed it. Oh my god, it's so good.
And he still needs it. That's how bad a mom
But
I
no blankets? That seems
It
like
was
because
the
of
yes, and they're
suffocating?
like, "We just have to," and both of them said it. They like, "Yeah, that's the thing. They don't have how weird is that?" So, anyways, I guess it's
I
not
mean,
weird.
newborns,
I
yeah.
think they're paranoid of the baby, and they don't like, remember, did you swaddle? Like, I remember just
I
putting them in a
did.
little taco.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
that's
don't
like
do that
not a
anymore.
thing
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
No, I'm like, "Gosh," but that's their little security because they were used to being, like, all in the
Yeah.
womb. You wanna gradually
My mom was always very against swaddling. Whenever I would come home after she would put
that
the kids down, it
explains
would
a
be
lot.
like the swaddle yeah, she was like, "But
Totally.
they're too," I don't know. You gotta figure out what works for you and for
Yeah,
your kids. That's
exactly.
what
So
I'll
anyway,
say.
so I just
Yeah.
heard that. These are other moms listening. So after my takeaway from that conversation was just be there for them,
Sort of.
honor how they're doing it because it's definitely going to be different, and that's
Yeah.
okay, and that's absolutely okay, and
Yeah.
try to do the best you can.
I
And
was gonna say, like, make sure you give all of your opinions, show up unannounced,
yep,
make sure Olivia knows that every big holiday will be at your
at
house,
my house and all about me. Exactly right.
and you'll be wearing your pink floral dress.
They'll be
I will say
saying
I
hi.
said I was gonna give a shout out to my mother-in-law at the end of
Yeah,
this, so I am.
yeah,
My mother-in-law, Pam, and I told her this on Mother's Day, she is like the embodiment of the mother-in-law that I wanna be. She is so
good.
thoughtful, she is so kind, I feel so loved by her and supported, and she literally is the role model of who I hope to be as a mother-in-law one day because and I should point out, I did pick her before I picked Chris, like, I knew that
You
I
picked
met
the
her first.
family. You
I
were
picked
like,
the family first,
"You
and then I
guys
was like,
have
"Oh,
a
you've
son."
got a son,
I
perfect."
know he's 12 and I'm like 20, but
But I'll
you
wait.
guys might
I'll wait.
I'll wait him out. I'll wait it out.
Oh my god.
Oh,
All right. Lisa, I love you.
love you
These
too.
conversations make me so
Yeah.
happy. We will be
Mom,
back with
mom,
more next week, but,
mom.
shout out to the moms out
We
there.
can
We all
be
hope you had a
annoying, but
great
we
Mother's
mean
Day.
well, okay?
Oh,
We mean
totally.
well.
Just don't ever forget, we've got our own stuff that we're dealing
Yeah,
with.
exactly, but we love
Not
our kids more than anything, all of us. We
we
know that.
do. We
Every
would do
mom we've
anything
interviewed,
for
that's the
them.
thread that that
Yeah.
runs through all of these moms, unconditional love.
Yep.
So, we're doing
Amen.
our best. So,
Which is all you can do.
I'm
Which is
glad
all
my
you can
son
do as a mom.
Max who I now
Your son,
know,
Max McCaffrey.
My son, Max McCaffrey, gave me a nice shout out. I'm glad, like I said.
Go listen. You should start every day listening to those messages.
Yeah. Oh, I will. I'll feel pretty good about it. I won't get out of bed. I'll just commanding things.
Just have bonbons and just yell at Ed to come serve you with. And I hope he's wearing like a white suit as well.
100 white linen suit, not a wrinkle.
Love you.
Love you. Peace out.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Mom, it's your son, Max.